Hello everybody, Travis from Fat Man to Batman here. I wanted to do a quick, my thoughts on Jordan Peele's Us. Got to see that last night, and it's a spoiler-filled thoughts, but it's not a review per se. So you've been warned. So here's my thing. Everybody who's talking about it now is saying it's a movie of Us has got a double meaning. It's us, but it's also US, and it's about a group of disenfranchised people rising up against their oppressors, the voice of the voiceless. I don't disagree with any of that. I think that is absolutely what he was trying to accomplish. However, I feel like that's not a horror movie, that's a thriller. And I have some problems. There are some plot points that I legitimately feel make it difficult for me to wrap my head around that. And we talked about this to a degree at some length last night. One of those plot points being, if the tethered are supposed to be the doppelgangers of the people above, and they were made to control the people above, but they say they couldn't duplicate the human soul, so they left them down there. And Adelaide is the reverse. So the woman that's underground leading the revolution is in fact one of us. Why is it all of a sudden, because all of them are very Cro-Magnon, they can't really communicate. She is what teaches them communication. She is what teaches them to be different, because at the moment she is introduced to them, they are all just copying what their counterparts above do. So she is what makes them different, and she says she's special. But here's my problem with that. They're very animalistic. So it's like you teach an animal sign language to communicate, but then ask it to go teach others. Because she had way more tethered down there that you see in the movie than she could have had access to. But yet they're all communicating in their ways, which means someone else would have had done that. So that's a big plot hole for me. She could not have got them to communicate with each other in the way that she communicated with them, because she's the one that taught them, and she wouldn't have had access to all of them across the nation. So that's one. Two, genetics don't work that way. So just because you're a clone and you have the same genetics, and your mate's clone and them have the same genetics, and they have a kid, doesn't mean the kid turns out the same way. That's just not how it works. One could have brown hair and one could have blonde because the chromosomes were there and they just worked that way. So that's a big problem for me. They would not have been identical every single time, and they were in the movie. That's how they were. My last big, to me, is Adelaide didn't want to be down there. She could have left whenever she wanted. Clearly at 14, she's dancing around down there. So, and then she started a revolution. Well, she could have just walked up the escalator. She didn't have to stay, which means she chose to stay. And that's fine. Again, she led the revolution. That's awesome. But then at that moment, it's not I have been put into destitution. It's I choose to stay here to help these people fight. Either way it goes, again, I am not trashing the movie. It was not bad. I don't think it's a horror movie, and I don't think I would see it again. But Jordan Peele is a genius. He's incredible. I think that his cinematography, his choice of music, his subtle clues, he's very Hitchcockian. I'm a big, big fan. I just think that calling this a horror movie is not realistic. Make a horror movie, Mr. Peele. I would be extremely interested in seeing that, because your mind is amazing. But those are just some thoughts from me. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Keep tuning into the channel. We'll talk later.